Hey.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And if that wasn't enough to clue you into some of our favorite best movies, just look at my shirts. I'm wearing 2 shirts, one with some emblems on them, and one with a little, oops, wrong direction, little logo on it. Oops, I'm doing the right side. There we go. Yay. Okay.
Nice.
All right, now enough of that.
All right, what's going on? All my movie loving badasses. It's your boy Preston PhatSamuraiGuy back again with another video, hanging out with filmmaking legends. First up, from Warner Brothers Animation, Jen and Miko. Welcome back. It's great to see you guys.
Hey, it's good to be back.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah.
Miko,
action film Autopsy alumni.
Yeah, that's right. Miko, you don't work for Warner's, right? Or do you?
No, I work for Skydance Media.
Skydance. So there you go.
Skydance Animation.
The
2 studios in the house.
People, which that last one.
Royalty. We are amongst.
Hey, I'm at Warner Brothers. All right, we just Aquaman. That last one.
Ooh, it's gonna be interesting.
I'll get
on my list.
I'll get that. Well,
spoilers, Frank.
We'll also get to that tomorrow remember tomorrow, everybody, Action Film Autopsy, same time, same channel tomorrow.
It is.
Yes,
it's on my list. I'll come in.
That's right. And here he is. You know him, you love him. That's right. Welcome back, Rick, Kung Fu Santa. Good to have you back on the show, brother.
Sifu Santa. I'm changing my name because it's Sifu Santa now.
There we go. Sifu Santa. Yes.
Or maybe I'm changing the Santa part, so I'm Kung Fu Sifu or something.
Sifu Santa.
The master remaster, Frank Djeng. Welcome back, brother. What is that shirt you're wearing there, brother?
Depeche Mode, baby.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Frank is always on theme. Always on theme.
That time was, remember when I wore the Duran Duran shirt? This time it's Depeche Mode.
Nice. Well, it's great to see everybody here. We got some people in the house saying hello to everybody. Thank you, everybody, for watching right now. Everybody's fired up. Happy holidays to all of you who I didn't get a chance to say happy holidays to. There we go. Best wishes. Jake Hall in the house. We have certified badass channel members. The Sexasumo. Oh yeah, all the way from Germany.
Hey.
Neen and Lucy. Good to see everybody.
Good to see you.
Yeah, all over the world. It's good to see you guys chiming in. We're going to be talking about the best and the worst of 2023. A disappointment for Frank's list.
In our opinions.
Their personal, honest opinion.
Yeah.
And if you guys are curious and wondering, stay tuned. Your boy here, Samurai Guy, and his better half, Lady Fat Blood, we're going to be doing our own best and worst of the year 2023 very soon. So stay tuned for that. But we're here for these legends today. So, all right, let's just jump right into it. Let's have some fun here. Frank has some disappointments. He's not happy. He's got some disappointments of the year.
Last year I only had that, 10 best, top 10, whatever. This year I decided to spice it up a little bit by including a few disappointments.
Yes.
First up, Napoleon. Ridley Scott, Napoleon. I thought it was, again, this is another case of Kingdom of Heaven, where you just know that the longer director's cut is going to be better than whatever you saw in the theaters. Things are cut out. And also, I think, now that I have time to think about this movie, I think he placed the wrong focus. I think the focus was wrong.
Okay.
I know why he did it. He basically telling you that for Ridley Scott, the Napoleon's worst enemy was really Josephine. She's the one that kind of took him down eventually because he's so infatuated with her that he's willing to leave the battlefield or go back to see her and all that jazz. But again, I think the focus was kind of wrong. I think he spent too much time focusing on that relationship that he could have spent more time on not only the battles but also the characters, the Napoleon's motivation and all that.
That's also true of Maestro, the Leonard Bernstein biopic. I also felt that he concentrated on that, but this is not my disappointments. Carry on, Frank.
I haven't seen Maestro, but from what I heard, if you're a music lover like me, like if you know Bernstein, you will be disappointed by Maestro because Maestro is not about Bernstein, the person. So anyway, and Bernstein, the musician. So anyway, so first disappointment, Napoleon. Second disappointment is Ant-Man, the Quantum Mania, whatever crap.
What is this?
Yeah,
What-
what is it
what?
exactly?
Oh my
What?
god.
We didn't
What?
even get that far into the movie to see that.
No.
I mean,
Not.
Why did they do my boy Modoc like that, man? Why they gotta do Modoc like that?
Hey, that wasn't a disappointment to me. That's on my worst list. That's coming up.
I mean, for one thing, the CG was horrible. The effects was horrible. Okay, and although it does have kind of like a pretty thorough story, the narrative is pretty thorough. It just didn't click. I mean, it just is like factory Marvel as its worst.
Well, I'll tell you my opinion why, and also some of the rumors I got from my Disney team. But that'll come on my worst list.
Okay, so yeah, no, I was rather disappointed. I mean, it's like it didn't do anything for me. Although the only thing that proved, of course, was that Jonathan Majors is a great actor, but sadly that we won't. He was especially good in Loki, by the way. I mean,
He was good.
Yeah, I mean, he was really much better in Loki, both seasons of Loki, than in this movie.
Well,
But yeah, but
again, as some of the great critics always say, when you've got a million Kangs, it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah,
Nobody cares about Kang if you got a million of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was a letdown. No, I agree, it was a letdown. But again, like I said, I bet you the director's cut will be, an improvement. So
We're not going to see.
moving on, Silent Night. This was John Woo at this point should really try to one up John Wick. Instead, this became John Wick Light. I mean, I felt it was John Wick Light, and I think the fact that there's no dialogue kind of hurt the film.
Very much so. Very much so.
I mean, it's a gimmick that really shouldn't have spread out for the entire film.
I'll be talking about it on tomorrow's Action Film Autopsy, but basically the bottom line is it's a gimmick movie that didn't require a gimmick and didn't make use of the gimmick.
Right. And then when you see that like the relationship between the cop, the black cop and him, and like you right away you notice two things. One, they must have cut a large portion of the black cop's character, from the film for budgetary reason, what have you, because you just felt that this guy must have played a much bigger role in the initial draft. Second, you look at how he interact with, Greg Kinnear, and then you think of how like Tony Leung and Chow Yun-fat interact in Hard Boiled. There's no comparison. No comparison, and also, but the fact that you have the girlfriend that started shooting out of nowhere at the end, and when you were expecting this great final showdown with the final boss, when there isn't one, that was a huge letdown for me. I mean, it had its moments. There was a great car crash. The opening scene was great. Some of the shootout was great. But still, again, like I said, John Wick Light. You were hoping that John would have seen John Wick on that, and then he would try to improve it on his own film. Turns out, no, he is.
More about that tomorrow.
Okay, but yeah, it was a disappointment for me.
Yes.
So the issue is not the no dialogue. It's just they didn't use it well, because everyone's raving about the Jen and Miko. Have you guys seen that sci-fi film that everybody raved about this year on Hulu?
Which one?
No one will save you. Everyone raved about that movie, and there's no dialogue.
Yeah, because they used that. They used that well. They used that
Right.
extremely well. They knew what they were doing with that.
Yeah,
Copy
that
that.
was what sounded most appealing to me, but then Frank was going on about how they underutilized it, so that's a letdown.
All righty.
Yep.
Copy that.
Okay, and the last film on my disappointment list was that Transformer Beast War, whatever. Yeah.
I'm proud of you, Frank. I'm proud of you to come out and say that was a disappointment.
Because
You can thank me for that.
Thank
Frank,
you. Yeah,
Frank
no,
forgot.
no.
I reminded him.
Yeah, Samurai actually reminded me. What about Transformers, Frank? And yeah. Now, I mean, I've mentioned before that I'm a fan of the Michael Bay Transformers film, and I particularly like the last two. The last two that he did. The Age of Extinction and the Last Night. So Bumblebee was already kind of
Bumblebee was
smaller
okay.
scale, right? It was okay, but smaller scales. This is really, this is just you have unappealing. Yeah, I know.
Yes.
You have unappealing protagonists. Ugly even, I'm sorry to say, and I'm sorry, and and then you have very cardboard characterization of the Transformers, like I mentioned last time when we talked about this film, like when you hear Michelle Yeoh doing the Falcon, you're not looking at Falcon, you look at Michelle Yeoh. You know what I mean? And that really took me out of the movie. And yeah, and then coming from Michael Bay, it just, I mean, everything else, I mean, all the effects, all the all the action, everything is just such a big step down from the Michael Bay level. So
yeah, I feel like I signed up. I grew up loving the Beast Wars.
Same.
Yes.
Show.
Yeah.
I was like, I took a picture with the Cheetor part of the cardboard cutout stand. I was expecting all of them, and then they were in it for like 15 minutes total.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they were underutilized for sure.
It was like, what is the point of having Beast Wars? You're not gonna use Beast Wars.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Rhinox didn't even talk.
No.
Yeah,
He didn't even talk.
I was like,
just
it's like,
roared.
oh, I bet that, like this character should come out. Like there's all these different ones that like
yeah.
it was such a waste.
Yep.
Well, we'll be getting into that when we talk about Rebel Moon, which is again tomorrow for me. Because basically what happens is, and you probably know this, when a studio has IP that they feel that they can put the movie out, even if it's not good, because there's an audience waiting for it, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Even if they have no respect for the subject matter or for the fans. But again, we'll talk more about that later. So that's it, Frank? That's your disappointment?
That's it. Yeah,
Yep.
That's it. All right. Well, I don't have disappointments. I have worsts. I have worsts. And I'm putting them, I believe, in the order of their release this year from January to December. I believe I'm doing that.
Yes.
And number one, I actually couldn't find 10 movies I hated this year. But again, thankfully, Fat said, oh, what about that? Well, he didn't put it in these words. What about that horrible chop sake sui that you hate so much, Knights of the Zodiac?
Sushi.
And I said, all right, there we
It
go.
came out this year?
Yeah. Well, you see, it did
forgot.
come out this year,
Okay.
but it didn't come out in January.
Okay, McKenyu though, we got to give him the glow up for going from this to then landing Zorro and doing well in the One Piece live action at least.
Well, there you go. Well, exactly.
I feel like that was like a career-ending movie, that Knights of the Zodiac, and then I was glad it didn't ruin his career.
Yeah, that I don't think that was a movie ruining. I mean, a career ender. I think that was a check, and everybody understood that they were there for the check, and that they could carry on, and they're not going to be sacrificed for how bad. I mean, it's just another chop sake sui movie or chop sake sushi movie for me, which is a bunch of white people taking Asian things, mashing them all together, throwing it at the screen, and not caring. Because again, they don't respect the audience, but they know the audience is there. But I didn't think it was so terrible that I hated it. I just sort of went.
Have you seen the show, the anime?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was like, we were like,
No, it was really bad. It was definitely, it was definitely very disappointing. The action, it is like what you said, Rick. They would basically take some of the key elements, but they don't respect the reasoning or the context behind those elements, and they just did it without.
We'll be getting into that again tomorrow as well when we talk about the live action adaptation of Yu Yu. And again, the difference between a production team that respects the content and the team that don't. So in any case, but speaking of the ones who don't, I don't know what, this is another one of these amazing Twilight Zone disasters that Disney Plus did. And the first one wasn't this year, I believe it was last year. Unforgettably bad. I'm trying to remember the title of it because it's that little kid, Artemis Fowl. Disney, they did the adaptation of that, and I'm watching with Kenneth Branagh as the director, and I'm going, and that's what happened with Willow this year. Willow was like, and I love that poster. I chose that poster for Fat to put up specifically because that's the show in one image: a bunch of people standing around. The whole thing is they just go from place to place, talk to each other, no urgency, no adventure. The action consists of two of those characters standing amidst a bunch of antagonists who threaten them, who are going, oh, we're going to attack you any second. And they're going, oh, they're going to attack us any second. And they don't. And that happens over and over and over and over again.
Mhm.
And it was like, and of course it goes on for whatever, 8 episodes, an hour each or something. And it's like, I said, I love these actors. I love the idea of the show.
Mm.
But why didn't they do a good job? Again, there's no way of knowing what happens. I again blame all of this stuff on Bob Chapek. Because, no, I do, because all the people I've talked to is that he had an insidious effect on that studio. And he got rid of all the creative people and brought in all his yes men. And they just fucked around. They just fucked around with these things and sort of stomped, the producers. 75% of the producers in Hollywood stomp on creative people's dreams, and 25% support them. But whatever. Then I put this one in just for Frank. Number 3. This is totally bull.
Oh,
It's totally bull. I'm sorry, Frank.
Damn it,
The only
Frank.
reason I bring it in there is that because they're up there, the second from the top.
I just bought this from Welco.
Let me make this very
I got it
clear.
today.
Wandering Earth 2 is a good movie, but the action is, well, this is my number 1 on my disappointment list, Frank, because of course it has the great Wu Jing, who should be the greatest kung fu star in the world now, and China won't let him do his kung fu. And they have this wonderful action sequence. It's a wonderful action sequence, Frank, but they don't let Wu Jing pay off his kung fu move. It just, otherwise it's a good movie, but it's deeply disappointing to me because of how China, he made Wolf Warrior the most successful action Chinese movie of all time financially, and they wouldn't let him do number 3, even though he had already announced it. So let's get off of that. But that one was for you, Frank. Anyway,
he also didn't fight in the Meg 2. That surprised me more than him not fighting.
yeah, because he wasn't in China, but these guys all have to kowtow to the Chinese government. I understand, because they live there and they work there and they have to keep working. And I get it. The only guy who's able to put it in is Jackie. Jackie is still able to put in his little pieces. They forgive him. They let, because they know he puts it in soft. He doesn't put it in hard. And also he uses team, whatever. Now, number 4 on my worst list is the aforementioned Ant-Man Quantumania. And Ant-Man, if you're going to do an Ant-Man movie, don't put him in Quantumania. Because Ant-Man is a unique individual with a great team around him. And to put him in that multiverse miasma, my whole attitude about the multiverse is when anything is possible, nothing is interesting. But to put Ant-Man in there and basically deball him, take away all his character, it's just and then they double down on the multiverse with the Quantumania. It's just like, oh, I was so disappointed and sad. But speaking of that, Equal Time, number 5 on my worst list, again, not a terrible movie, but a movie that sort of like gave up from the moment it started. And again, the whole idea is that they were going to honor the Latinos, they were going to honor the Hispanics, and they turned it into a comedy. They turned it into a sitcom where people were doing sitcomming rhythms and sitcomming takes, and then they turned the entire family into a bunch of rabid murderers. And had they had some sort of balance, had they gone in one direction all the way or the other direction all the way, it could have been great. Had it been the revenge of the Latinos, I think it might have worked. But at that point, I think they had already announced that the DCEU was over. So at that point, it was like, let's get rid of it. We have, and at least they didn't do what they did to Batgirl or Batwoman or whatever that one that they just totally canceled. I keep saying, because I don't want to mention the name because certain people I know work for them. But in any case, or at least work for the animation department.
Yeah,
but in any case.
We're connected to them. I will say Blue Beetle, I feel like it was meant to be a streaming movie, and I feel like it shows. That's my big thing, is that I think people would have approached it, not even that people would have been less critical, but I think it would have landed different if it had just been a streaming movie.
You're absolutely right, because we have less expectation when it comes on to the streaming service. And I think that's a very good point. And I would have enjoyed it more had I seen it that way, I'm sure. Now, speaking of the streaming services, Citadel.
I
This-
forgot it existed.
Well, there's a good reason for that. The Russo brothers had a very ambitious spy concept. Basically, this seemed to be a knockoff of what they're doing in Bollywood. The Bollywood guys have a cop universe and a spy universe, but that is done in the Bollywood approach, which is the Bollywood approach is very much like the Shaw brothers in that it's a heightened reality. And here they were trying to do a real, in quotes, reality or a reality, but they came up with the worst imaginable concept, and then they kept doubling down and then tripling down and quadrupling down on it. And the one moment that I think was the encapsulation, this was a bunch of episodes. This was a series. It was like a 45 minutes to an hour each episode. And every single episode sort of like ended with, oh, this is a big twist. And then the very beginning of the next episode is, no, we were kidding. It's not a twist. It's not what you were expecting. They just kept changing because there's no way to do twist anymore because everybody does twist. But finally, and I think either the last episode or the second to last episode, Stanley Tucci, who's playing the M character, tells these two heroes, nothing you know is true. And at that point I go, okay, then there's nothing to care about. At this point, there's nothing to care about. You have beaten us into a stupor. The audience is like going, oh, F this, man. Nothing is real. There's nothing to care about. So, but speaking of that, the next one is, I believe, was also Netflix, and that's Fubar.
Fubar.
Fubar. And
That's a good impression.
I love Schwarzenegger. I like Schwarzenegger. Like The Rock. Both The Rock and Schwarzenegger defeated me this year because they always gave me what I thought they were going to give me until, of course, we had Black Adam, and The Rock just completely screwed the pooch on that one. And Fubar, which was his attempt to do a spy family comedy, but it should have been a movie. By making it a 6 or 8 episode show, he's playing the father of a spy daughter, and they're constantly getting into arguments, and the arguments are totally contrived. I mean, they're getting, oh, you didn't give me a napkin with dinner, and let's argue about that for 15 minutes because we've got to kill this episode somehow. And my favorite moment is in the first episode where he throws a bomb into a dumpster, and so he has a dumpster fire. And I said, okay, I know the review of this show. This show is a dumpster fire. And it was a greatly disappointing, but not as disappointing as this next one. Indiana Jones.
Boom.
And the Dial of Destiny. Oh my. We know who's responsible for this. Actually, 2 people are responsible for this. Kathleen Kennedy, who wants to apparently emasculate every major male character in the oeuvre, and Harrison Ford himself, who after a while simply doesn't like his characters anymore, and he's happy to let anything happen to them. And so when Kathleen Kennedy said, we're going to deball Indiana Jones, and we're going to make him a drunken, depressed, weak, stupid, disliked character, what do you think? Sounds good to me. Gives me something to act. Okay, great. So the moment I saw him at the beginning, and I said the same thing to my friends at the end of the movie, I just turned around and we all agreed that wasn't Indiana Jones.
Mm.
I don't know who that was, but that was not Indiana Jones. That was Artemis Fowl. That was Willow. It was a terrible disappointment, especially since I heard so many great things about what was supposed to be Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. The original screenplay by David Coet was supposed to be awesome. Supposedly he was working on the original script of this last one, but he was gotten rid of again. So that's what we have to remember it by. But even that wasn't as bad as this.
Oh.
Oh my effing Lord. That was Chapek's revenge in a nutshell. Could they have made anything worse The question is, when they make something this bad, when they take this character, Nick Fury, and again emasculate him, turn him into a total a-hole, turn him into a total weekend, turn him into a completely 100% opposite for what he is, and then make a show that's just like, by the end of it's like, we can't believe this is happening. Well, Takeshi, don't please save yourself. I will give you, at the end of my best list, I will tell you what you should wait for, because it's the greatest thing that Marvel has done in since the Eternals. Well, no, the Eternals wasn't good. Since Endgame.
Yeah, you said that. I was like, Eternals?
Yeah, not Eternals. Eternals was the beginning of the end. But now they're coming back because Chapek's out and Iger's back in, and he's going, we're going to back up your creative decisions and not have them cut you off the knees. Secret Invasion was just dreadful. The best thing about Secret Invasion was that it created all sorts of short videos on YouTube from New Rock Stars and Screen Crush, because they had all these different short videos going, what the fuck happened to this show?
I feel like Secret Invasion gave me permission to stop caring about the MCU.
Hey,
because it's like that clip, the scene where Emilia Clarke, when she like has everyone's powers, it's like you said, it's like when everything, like when the sky is, when there's no limits, like there's no stakes and you don't care. And I was like, okay, I still watch once in a while, but I went from being like every movie, you know, we'd go to every movie together, and now it's just like I am so behind and I don't care.
Well, here's the thing, because I've been resurrected and I won't tell you, but what if everything was good again? What if everything was not only good
I feel like
again,
it's tough because I'd have
great
to believe it, which would require me to have to watch them again.
It's a half hour. They're half hour. What if they were only half hour episodes?
Okay, fine. I hear good things about what if.
And what if they were really great? But we'll get to that later. But in any case, let's do I had a hard time finding the last worst of the year. I was going to put in Rebel Moon, but then I didn't mind it. I thought Rebel Moon was.
No.
I think
that's the one.
Well, we'll get to you after this, but let me do my little symbol for why I liked Rebel Moon. I just fast forwarded. I fast forwarded to the fights, and the fights were not bad taken individually. They were still Zack Snyder stuff, but I'll explain this tomorrow too on the Action Film Autopsy as to why he did what he did, because my issue with that was, you have all your power now, Zack. You have your Zack-offs. That's your crowd. I call them the Zack-offs, his audience. And they'll back him on anything he does. And so will Netflix, because all Netflix wants is something that they can put on that they know people will watch. Mm-hmm. And Zack Snyder stuff, they know people will watch because he has a Zack on. And that's what you chose to do? A ripoff of every single thing you've ever seen? Because, if we had a drinking game for Rebel Moon where you chose what inspiration that he was ripping off in that scene, we'd be drunk within the half hour. Yeah. We'd be in the hospital with alcohol poisoning within the half hour, because it's just so derivative. But again, I didn't hate it because I just watched the fight scenes. What I did hate is something that was very similar to Citadel, which was Heart of Stone. Very clever title. Cool idea, done abysmally. Just abysmally done. Just the action is terrible in that show. So enough of my worsts. Do you want to talk about Rebel Moon, you guys, or do you want to save it till tomorrow?
Save it to tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do
All
it
right,
tomorrow.
so now we're back to you, Frank, I think, with your bests.
Well, hold on a second.
Well, never mind.
We have a super chat. Oh, my goodness, a very generous super chat from Certified Badass channel member John Bonney. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, keeping this show going. Godzilla -1 is at the top of my list.
Wait for it,
Best
John.
films of the year.
The
latest Mission Impossible is number 2. Yeah,
agree on the first one, does not agree on the second one.
I agree with them.
But thank you, John. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you for the wonderful super chat. All right, it is time for Frank's Best. And we're gonna take a look at it on Facebook here. Hold on one second. Let me do a little screen share action here.
What?
Hold on. All right. Boom. There we go. We're gonna blow it up. Look at that.
Oh, whoa.
Look at that. That's right.
That's your favorite, Frank?
No, it's not number 10.
No, this is your best. We're doing your best now, Frank.
No, number 10. Number 10. No.
Yeah, this is number 10 for Frank's best list.
Yeah, number 10.
All right, here we go. We're
going. I'm
starting
going
it
to
right
go.
now.
You know, countdown like 10 to 1. So
Okay.
this is number 10. You know,
Oh.
I know. Look, look.
It's all right, Frank. It's all right.
The range.
The opening with the Nazis are great.
True.
I actually like the finale. I like the fact that he went back to that period.
True.
And that was so stupid because I actually didn't get the hint. Every Indiana Jones films, remember, whenever he lectured, whatever stuff that he lectured, in the beginning of the film, he always he always ends up going to that place. And I should have caught that when he was talking about Archimedes and all that stuff.
Yeah, I did catch that.
I didn't catch for whatever reason.
Didn't save the movie for me.
Well, I didn't catch it. I think it's because I didn't expect them to do it. I didn't expect them to go all the way back to that time period. So when they actually did it, I was pleasantly surprised. But again, like you said, Rick, I hated the demasculinization, the castration of his character.
And then rather than stay in his place by his choice, the girl punches him in the face. And then his life is saved by his wife coming back. But she had no reason to come back. It just was so much. Oh, yeah. Okay.
No. I agree. No, I
number
agree.
9.
No.
Number 9.
No. Let me finish one more thing. No,
Go ahead.
Look,
hurry.
It had its moments, but again, I didn't like the way. We don't know what it is. Like you said, it could be Harrison Ford's choice to portray him like that. We don't know, right? Could be Kathleen Kennedy, but still, it has its moments, and I just felt that it still deserved to be at least on my top 10 list. But it's at the bottom.
You enjoyed it, Frank.
I enjoyed it. Yes.
All right.
It's still in my top 10. It's at the bottom 10. Okay. All right.
Okay. We know. Go on.
Number 9.
Number 9. Spider-Man Across the Multiverse.
Hell yeah.
I have 3 animation films on my list this year, and this is the first.
So do
one. I think the animation is great. That chase scene in the middle, wonderful. I think the reason why the one reason I didn't put this on a higher part of my list was for 2 reasons. One, they knew that this is going to be a 2-parter, so you feel it. You felt it when you watch it. You felt they're stretching things out. Unlike the first film where everything's very tight, very just moving along at a very nice pace. Here, you have scenes that are kind of stressed out, and they're just they're like stretching out for time because they're saving the stuff for the next film. And of course, it ends on a cliffhanger that I didn't appreciate because now we're going to wait to see what happens next. So that's, but other than that, this is a fine film, as good as the first film, but again, looser in terms of the narrative and the pacing. But the animation is just wonderful. So this is number 9. But the next one, this is why I put this next animation film above Spider-Man.
Oh.
Number 8, Ninja Turtles.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, how do you not know what it's going to be?
I did not expect this film to be so much fun.
So good. I
did not expect the animation to be so great. I love the style. I think the style is wonderful.
Yeah.
It's part 3D, part comic book. It's a very innovative style of animation. And Jackie Chan has one of the best role of his career, as the Rat.
Wow.
Again, I went in to see this film with very little expectation, thinking that this is more for kids and stuff. I was laughing my ass off. This was a fun film with lots of jokes intended for adults and Ice Cube. Ice Cube was great too. I absolutely enjoyed it. Yeah. This is a fantastic film. I hope they do more. I hope they do more. Yeah. So this is number 8. Number 7, the only Marvel films that deserve to be on this list: Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 3.
Right.
Again, I think it's because of James Gunn.
Yep.
Because of his storytelling, his characterization. Great art design, great production, great humor. Some of the jokes is there's some great visual jokes that I just burst out laughing when I saw it. It's just great, and it put a nice little resolution to all the characters.
Well, I didn't like the resolutions that much, but I did love the one-shot fight
Yes.
scene.
Yes, that one-shot fight scene, that was a pretty amazing. I mean, considering that being a
And I
physical.
thought the villain was one note.
The villain was one note. Yeah, I mean, this
Yeah.
is a major problem with a lot of these comic book movies now. One note villain, and
And they
that's
really have to stop casting African American actors as the villains.
although
But
the
what if they
villain-
find an actor that's great at it, though, Rick?
Well, again, there's no. I mean, yeah, they make their decisions, but yeah, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Okay,
Okay,
go ahead,
so
Frank. Sorry.
All right.
Actually, there will be another black villain we're going to talk about. But okay, so
Yeah.
so this is number 7. So number 6 is a tie, and I did put
Oh,
them.
sorry.
Oh!
Hold on.
What's
There we
it?
go.
So I
There we go.
put them together for.
That's good.
I
Good
put them
choice.
together for a reason because they're both
Yeah.
DC EU. I mean,
Of course.
DC EU films, and they represent the end of the DC EU.
Literally and
And-
figuratively. Yeah.
Yeah, and the contrary to what like people were saying and all that, they weren't that bad. I mean, I enjoyed them for
Yeah, I
whatever flaws. Like the Flash. Look, I mean, I know Ezra Miller with his problem, but I thought he did a great job in terms of acting. as
Yeah.
the Flash.
Yeah, no, I agree with
It
that.
doesn't feel like two distinct characters for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I thought he did a terrific job. I like seeing more of Keaton's Batman. I like the the old Batman coming out and trying to help these guys.
Yeah.
And I love Supergirl. I thought Supergirl was wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love
she's
the
a-
casting.
yeah, the casting.
Yeah.
No, the
Oh, yeah.
casting was spot on. I mean, the
Yeah.
Supergirl was wonderful. I want to see a Supergirl movie. Seriously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So that's why I put. That's why he's number 7.
And
now.
apparently, Gunn is casting as Supergirl,
Is he?
Yeah.
But,
Oh,
is he?
but it's not going to be the same.
Oh,
Yeah, that makes me really sad. I feel like she deserves like
he deserves
more.
to be the Supergirl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I agree.
And I get
Totally.
them wanting a clean cut, but it does stink. I think like Blue Beetle, it was reported that I think they're gonna try to keep
Yeah.
carry him over.
Right.
And they try to keep like Jason Momoa as Lobo. I think there's
Yeah.
a rumor going
That's
on.
the
I-
rumor.
that's been a rumor for a long
That's
time.
the rumor.
That fits.
Yeah, it
He'd be
does.
great. He'd
Right.
be great at. Right.
Oh, yeah.
So okay, and then Aquaman 2. Again, I enjoy it. I mean,
Yeah, it's a good movie.
it was fun. It
It's
was like
enjoyable.
it
We'll be
was
talking
like
about that tomorrow too.
it was a mix of Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Skull Island, Journey to I mean, it's a
But
nice
also had a
little-
lot of Aquaman comic content as well.
Yeah, a lot of Aquaman comment. I mean, Patrick Wilson was fantastic. I mean,
Always.
even the guy who did the Black
Black Manta.
Black Mantis, I think he's fine. Again, a little bit one note. Again, one note. But I like I admire the fact that he's a strong villain. He is strong,
Right.
and that you needed more than just Aquaman to take care of him.
Single most important thing to remember, everybody watching, if you're going to be fighting the Black Manta, always have 2 tridents. Always have 2.
Yeah. And the effects are, the effects are great. The animation of this is fantastic. I mean, there's some interesting, I know Rick's going to hate me for saying that, but there's some interesting camera shots that I really kind of like.
I don't hate you for saying it, but I will bring in my little friend,
Uh-oh.
OCII.
Oh, no, of course
Of course it is.
But anyway, I have fun. And actually, I'm going to go see it again in 40x 3D to, just for the heck of it.
Yeah,
So
why not?
Yeah, why not? I do feel sad this was the end of the DCEU. It kind of go out with a whimper. It ends with some guy eating a cockroach.
But it's still, yeah. That I think they did on purpose.
Yeah.
When you're at the 4DX, do they spray water on you?
Water and air, yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
But the chair moves. The chair
Yeah,
moves like crazy.
I knew that.
Yeah, I need to try
But
it.
yeah, they spray water, they spray air. Yeah. So
So
but I'm
you
going to go see it again in 40X on Sunday.
So you're going to be drowned. You'll be
you'll be drowned.
underwater.
Water.
Okay, so now we come to number 5. And to me, this was a tough one because
Yeah.
Take that, Jen and Miko.
no, this was a tough one.
It's not on my list. It's not on my list.
But I feel that I have to put it on my list because of, one, I think he's the last guy that's really doing this kind of old school filmmaking. Like this feel like watching an old school spy movie. I mean, just the way,
Well, it depends. I would rather it to be a Sean Connery than a Roger Moore.
Oh, yes, of course. But,
Yes.
And he's doing a Roger Moore spy movie.
right. But in the absence of a Bond film, I mean, who knows when we're going to get the next Bond film? This is
True.
kind of, right. This is kind of like a stopgap. And
It's true.
I did appreciate him still, coming up with very relevant subject. I mean, who would have thought that, AI would be the villain here, right? I mean, like now everybody's talking about AI.
Everybody in Hollywood.
Right. Yeah, but the stunts are fine. Again, the stunt was the major one that they keep talking about. That motorcycle thing again was a huge letdown. Because
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible letdown.
I found most of the action to be a letdown because
Yeah.
it was again Roger Moore-ish, wrong directions.
That's so
and
bad.
also the same thing that you were talking about before with making it a two-parter. Having it's kind of like and drawing everything out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't feel it was that drawn out, but yes, I mean, yeah. But then they tell you that this is going to be part one, so you kind of knew going in that this is just the first half. And I think from a marketing standpoint, again, was kind of a mistake to have done that.
I think my issue with this, and I feel like I said this, I feel like we were on this show when this came out and we talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like my issue with this is that naturally with this being like the 6th one or whatever number it is, they have to obviously he wants to up the stakes and up the stunts and up the actions and the set pieces. So it's like just getting a little bit too ridiculous. And I like to compare it to the Fast and Furious series because tonally it works with Fast and Furious.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Very much. Very
Fast
true.
and Furious has escalated. I mean, the first 2 were very straightforward, very grounded. The third one jumps. It doesn't quite jump the shark yet, but it's the escalation. You go with it, and the characters go with it. There's a level of self-awareness, especially Fast 10. The level of self-awareness and jokes in that one is but I feel like he still wants Mission Impossible to be very serious.
Yeah,
and it's you can't do that when you should have died 800 times. And it's just kind of getting to that level of ridiculousness without the tone to match it.
And also the problem is that the last 2 Mission Impossibles were excellent.
Yeah.
And so he's like so many, like Stephen Chow and others, he's competing against himself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, he didn't get close.
And I also thought that I also felt that COVID hurt him. I think the COVID really hurt the film too.
You're absolutely right.
Right. So that's why I'm giving him quite a little bit of slack here.
Yeah, you're putting
this film on my list. Now, I don't have Fast X on my list, even though I did enjoy Fast X.
Oh,
I did too. Because it reminded me of wrestling when I love John Cena in it because it was a wrestling movie. It was a WWE movie, basically.
And I thought Jason Momoa handled up really well. I think he
he was great. He was great in it.
The reason I didn't put Fast X on my list was because you just know that some of the action is all CG. And I think that really took away the original purpose that you really should be doing lots more physical effects when it comes to car chase action.
Like the last one. Again, everybody go to Netflix and watch The Lost Bullet 1 and 2 if you want to see real car stunts.
Yes.
So
those are astonishing.
Right. I mean, I thought about tying this one with Fast X, and I thought, you know what, Fast X, no. I mean, as much as I enjoy Fast X, I don't think it really, compare to whatever effort that he's still putting in his film. So I do look forward to the next one. And I hope the next one will be even better than this film. So.
Jen, is the next one going to be the last one
for Mission Impossible?
Yeah,
I think that's what they said.
That's what he said.
That's what he says. But
but also he was also quoted as saying he'll do them as long as he can.
Right.
So if the next one's a huge success, there'll be another one. If it's not, if it's the same sort of reaction as to this,
not box office wise, I feel like this one did really bad, didn't it?
Yes,
yeah, that's why he's saying it. Maybe
for the
Barbenheimer. That's true.
Yeah, that's why he's saying why he's saying the next one may be the last one because this one did soft.
Yeah.
But if the next one does great.
Yeah, but I do feel like Barbenheimer did because I remember it went from being in multiple theaters in our theater, multiple screens, and then the next week it was
it got completely
it got shafted
into normal screenings.
Yeah,
no Adobe.
Well, he lost the IMAX.
Yeah, he lost.
He was in IMAX for just 1 week.
Yeah,
we saw
exactly,
it.
Yeah.
But even so, the IMAX just showed how weak the film was, so it was no big deal.
Well, and okay, well, just one last thing. The reason I also put this on my top 10 was the fact that he still have strong female characters that I like.
Yeah, unfortunately, he killed the good one that everybody likes and put in the other one that people didn't like. So that was too bad.
But Frank, you got a kick out of it. All right.
I got a kick out of it. No, I saw it twice. I enjoyed.
thought it
I
was
saw it in
okay.
4DX on the second time. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
All right, Frank. What's
Okay.
next?
Next,
Number 4. Well, number 4 has that number 4 in it. John Wick
there you
4.
go.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's rare to have a film. By the time it's rare to have a series where going into the 4th film, you were topping the previous films. I think this. I mean, they were ambitious. They have a 3-hour film here, but it never drags. Cinematography is wonderful. Action was great. I love that. That whole like video game one take long shot sequence. That was pretty
Yeah, it was
amazing.
awesome.
Top down.
It was awesome.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
was
and
great.
you have Donnie Yen. I mean, you have Donnie Yen. You have
Emerson
Scott
Adler.
Atkins.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have that girl, the Japanese girl there. I mean,
Marco Zaror, baby.
And we
Yeah.
have Marco. Yeah, we have Marco.
Marco. So, yeah, even though I wish I don't know, I still felt the last sequence was not as great as what comes before, but still, I had a great time watching this. 3 hours just went by, and I hope to see more of John Wick. So, yeah.
All righty.
So does Lionsgate.
So does Lionsgate. Yeah. All right, number 3 is okay. So these the top 3 here, any one of them can kind of be on number 1, but I decided to kind of arrange
Yeah, of
them.
course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Now number 3 is also a tie, and I think that I put them together because I felt that this is actually a very good year for Japanese movie, and I felt these 2 films were really good, and so one of them, of course, Godzilla -1, no comparison, but the other one, Suzume.
I
Yeah.
love Suzume.
Suzume is very
Suzume
good.
is,
But it's not an action film.
yeah.
So-
Well, it had tons of action.
There's
Tons of
pieces.
Plenty of action.
There's plenty of action.
Plenty of
Alright.
action
You know
anime.
how much of Japan she runs around to chase this little chair?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
there's
Well,
so much.
I'll have to watch it.
Suzume is fantastic. It's
Gonna
a
have to
great.
check that
I
out.
mean, it has a good story. It has great animation, and and I liked it so much. I actually imported the Japanese Blu-ray because Crunchyroll's not going to release it till next year. Well, I can't
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah, Rick, Suzume is my top animated film, full stop. Like my top animated movie of the year.
Nice.
I don't have Crunchyroll, so I'll have to find a way to see it.
Well,
I got to check that out too.
right. Well, Godzilla -1, I mean, of course, I
No
mean,
argument there.
no argument there. I mean, the
Yeah.
best Godzilla film since maybe arguably the first one. And I mean, it is a.
Oh no, I think it's much better than the first one.
Really. Although
The
I
first
find it
one is
interesting.
the first one, and it's good because it is the first one. But this one is.
I do find it interesting that they are not going to release it in Taiwan and Hong Kong because apparently Godzilla in this film was also a metaphor for China.
It could be perceived by China
Yes.
as a metaphor for China,
Right, exactly.
but that's normal for them.
And for whatever reason, Toho kind of accepted that perception, and so Hong Kong and Taiwan and China is not going to see this film. They're not going to release it there. So
That's
They
interesting.
won't see it in the theaters, but they'll see it.
they'll see it, but just
Yeah.
not in the theater. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, great film. I hope there will be a sequel, and I think there will be a sequel. So
Yeah, they're already working on it.
okay.
Mhm.
All right, number 2 also has the number 2 in it. That's
Take
right.
Take that, Rick.
No, I was expecting it. I knew why I did it. I like I said, I like the movie. I think the movie's great.
The movie is fine. I think it's original sci-fi is ambitious. The effects are great, and and I think it's just a very. I thought it was a wonderful achievement in terms of a Chinese sci-fi film. Of course, Wu Jing not fighting. Was a big disappointment. But I think it was not. I mean, I don't think the ideal casting was to have him fight in this film. I just think
No,
that,
of course not. Of
and
course
also
not.
it's because he was in the first film. So.
And also because he's a big star.
Right, and also he's a big star. Exactly, he's kind of like their Bruce Willis now, so to speak, or their Tom Cruise now. Right,
Yeah,
so they have to have him. But I thought the effects were great. I mean, I think the story was great, and and I think it deserved to be on my on a very high top of my
I
list.
agree. It's a powerful film.
It's a powerful film, and like I said, it just so happened I bought the Well Go Blu-ray that just got today, so I'm gonna watch it again tonight.
Well Go USA, baby.
Well Go! And you know
Hi-ya,
what?
hi-ya.
The funny thing, and I want to thank Well Go for including the Dolby Atmos track on this, because the UK releases on 4K, but they didn't even have an Atmos track, which is a
shame
damn
on
shame.
them.
That's bizarre.
Shame on them.
Yeah, how bizarre
Shame on
is that?
UK.
And hooray on Well Go. Yeah.
Yep, hooray on Well Go.
Before we get to the number one, Frank, you got some honorable mentions here.
Okay, sure. Yeah, let's do the honorable mention. The only reason I put them on the honorable mention is because they're not action films, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, the easy. You're taking the easy shot. I could have done that. Let's do Barbie, Oppenheimer, Boy in the Heron.
These are my honorable mentions. Right. Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, and The Boy and the Heron. Killers of the Flower Moon, again, I mean, what I find most interesting about Oppenheimer and Killers of the Flower Moon is, even though these films are long, you never felt that they were long. Like, especially Killers. Killers is, longer than Oppenheimer. But the time just went by just like that. So, so absorbing was the story. So, so good.
Great movies.
Great movie. The Boy and the Heron, though. When you watch it, and then when I watch it, I actually felt kind of sad, because you can tell this was a work of an old man. Yeah. And you can also tell that this was the film where he's trying to like reignite his creativity. And so when you're watching this film, you almost feel like you're watching autobiography of Miyazaki.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The first half.
For a second, Frank, I thought you were talking about John Woo there with Silent Night.
Oh, hey-o. No, so like the first third, the first third of the film, you can feel that is him, like feeling old and sad, like running out of creative juice. What should I do? And then, of course, you saw that book, like How Do You Want to Live Your Life? And then, of course, you have the Fire Girl. The Fire Girl is like his creative fire being reignited again,
Yep.
And then we have that whole sequence involved in afterward and stuff. And then we come to the final third, where once again he's going back to his legacy. He's thinking about his legacy. Who's gonna go? Yeah, who's gonna take over my legacy? Like the building blocks, right? The building blocks. When I saw that part where he said, "I need someone to look after my building blocks," and I was looking at those building blocks. Oh, those are his films. That right? Those the Jenga thingy, the building blocks.
Yeah,
right.
Those
are his films. He's talking about his films. Like, who's gonna look after my film and stuff. And then, of course, at the end, he kind of realized, well, you know what? Just let it go. I'm just gonna let it go. Whoever takes over. He's not gonna care that much about like what's gonna happen in the future and stuff. So, because he can't control it. He really can't control it. The
cold doesn't bother him anyway.
Right. But then again, wonderful animation. I mean, all hand drawn, by the way. So it's amazing how great the animation in that film was. And so these three definitely honorable mention.
No question.
Yep.
If this wasn't an action thing, they would be top of the list. But it is an action thing. So get to your number one.
Rick said, "Get to the point."
Get to the point. God damn it, Frank. All right.
Stop stating the obvious and go for it.
All right. The number one film on my list is The Creator.
I knew it. Yeah. That's a slap in my face.
I liked it.
You liked it. Following all these movies that you love, we get this little wah wah at the end.
No, yeah.
Well, let's hear why Frank liked it.
You have to admire. You have to admire Garrett Edwards for using a small budget, like 80 million or close to. Supposedly, it's actually closer to like 100, 120. But the film looks like it's $300 million. I mean.
The VFX on this, it's amazing how seamlessly blends with the environment, the characters,
exactly.
And
I mean, with such a small budget. Yeah, being original, exactly. People who see me on this show know that I'm always a big supporter of original sci-fi. This is, I mean, as much as this film copy a lot of elements from, everything from Blade Runner to Apocalypse Now, still, this was, I mean, I still think this was a pretty astonishing achievement in terms of original sci-fi. And yes, the ending was a little bit rushed still. What?
You're telling all the, it's a very flawed movie, yet you put it at the top of your best list.
That's his
if
favorite.
you put it as 10, I could have accepted. But the fact that you're championing this very flawed, not great movie as great, it's just like, ugh.
But it's great to Frank, Rick.
It's great to me.
No, it's not. It's something he gets to defend.
Well,
Defend it, Frank.
So,
defend it.
Yeah. No, I just think that, I mean, look, it's risky filmmaking, and I always applaud. It is risky filmmaking. I mean, like, there's no stars, there's no. I think they probably knew that this film is not going to do well, but yet they still did it. The studio still let him do it.
Yeah, the thing that we discussed that you were so happy about is that he went and took a small crew and the actor to film one scene in a completely different country. Talk about squandering it. And that was something you felt should be championed and applauded. And I'm like going,
no, no, that's effort. Like, no, what they explained why. They said that doing it that way is much cheaper than having this whole crew shooting at the same location day after day, feeding them, and all that stuff. Whereas it's so much easy for them to just fly to Japan like a 4-man crew, fly to Shibuya, just shoot that one scene where they cross the street in Shibuya,
Okay.
The creator.
The creator. Oh, well, that's my list.
All right.
It got what it deserved.
That's hard.
That's so mean.
That's so mean.
They said the same thing about Blade Runner back then. So
yeah, but Blade Runner did well.
No, initially.
Yeah, I did it initially.
Yeah, but again, the creator didn't do well throughout. The Blade Runner did get better, like Elemental,
like years later,
and like Zootopia, and also I'm going to mention on my list, at the top of my list, another movie that was very inexpensive and had very certain VXS, but had so much more of the mind candy that I enjoy. That, and also as a science fiction writer, an actual science fiction writer, I champion great science fiction, not derivative science fiction, stuff that copies from everybody else. Anyway,
it's all right, Frank.
Yeah.
That's his number one.
Yeah, everybody, no.
Frank can handle it. I'm upset. Frank is fine with it. I'm upset by the
Rick.
choice.
Before we get to your best of the year, Jen and Miko, since we got you guys here, what is your favorite movie of the year, and what is your worst pick of the year?
Oh gosh.
Worst
Do you
pick
need time to think about it?
No, we have our lists just to
Okay,
on
go ahead.
hand.
Go ahead and do your list before we get to Rick. Go for it.
For me, so like honestly, for me, the biggest, I don't know if the worst, but the biggest disappointment is the Rebel Moon.
Is Rebel Moon?
Yeah, that one. It just feels like he becomes another great director that did really good films in the beginning, and then he had access to unlimited power.
And if he has no one in his corner telling him no.
No one to tell him no, and no one to check him. So that movie felt very empty.
Yeah.
It's lack of substance, and it's just everything's important. A drac of what is it, like the beans falling on the ground is as important as anything.
Oh yeah.
It's slow-mo.
Yeah,
the slow-mo.
The slow-mo.
Random slow-mo.
This random slow-mo, like in 300 and
it's the
like
most
Watchmen.
Snyder movie to ever Snyder.
Right. Way back when he first started, there a lot of slow-mos created a huge amount of tension and focus and impact for the film. But now this one, every single character has it, but it's a fetch quest of every single character. And like, why do you want to help this person? Oh, they must have alternative motive. But no, let me not think about that. Let me just put that aside me and just focus on the action. And I feel like it's good that he's making the part 1 right now, like as an indication. But I personally won't watch part 2.
But also he's doing a 4-hour director's cut, and he's doing an R-rated version.
That's so ridiculous
but
that's needed.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, that wasn't needed because he's doing a Netflix. You can stretch the time as long as you want, as short as you want.
Yeah.
You can do a 5-hour movie. But the fact that he didn't do it is not only because of like budgetary reasons or whatnot. Maybe it needs to come out around this time. That would be the only reason. But he could have done it. But then he wanted more time to do it.
But didn't Netflix ask him to do a PG-13 version to release that one?
I think so. I think maybe.
But he was happy to do it. Zach Zach is one of those producers who just loves taking advantage of stuff. He loves I mean, the story that he screwed the pooch with Man of Steel, and DC was going to just cut him off at the knees, and he walked in with his Batman v Superman poster, and they all sort of went and gave him another chance, and then of course he got his Zach offs. So now he just loves it. He just loves manipulating and doing this to everybody.
Did you guys hear what Christopher Nolan said recently?
What's that?
He said he loves Watchmen.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that movie should have been released post Avengers. It would have did
Yeah.
better.
I love Watchmen.
Watchmen was great.
He said it was bad timing release for that. Nobody was ready. Nobody was ready for that.
Yeah,
it was
released
ready
it now. It would have
It's
been better.
such a good. It has a good story. It has good character that you care about, and then like the action was great. That's why I was very disappointed going into this film. I think that's why, and it's pretty fresh. That's why it's the highest in my mind right now. The other one would be like Mission Impossible.
Oh
and
no!
like,
So for me,
read off your list, Jen. If you have a list, read it.
I have a list, but so I had a Shazam. These aren't
Yes.
even like the new Shazam.
this is the
the
most
last
disappointing of the war.
I'm so happy that's
a little
there.
bit of these are disappointing. Like the Super
Okay.
Mario movie, it had a lot of great elements, but
Thank
in
you.
general, I was like a little let down by it.
Thank you. It wasn't that funny.
Yeah, I was like the parents were there. Like there's so many things where I was like, why did you do this? This is
I'm
an
not
animated
alone.
one. Ruby Gillman, I was a little let down by. Chris Evans and Ana de Armas that Ghosted. I was super let down.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the one I was the most let down was the Meg 2.
The Meg 2.
Because I fucking love the Meg. Like we'll just put it on in the background. It's like a comfort movie.
Yeah.
I like the Meg
Well, the
for
fact that Li Bingbing is not there.
Oh
like,
yeah,
that
that Li Bingbing's not there, and like she dies. I'm like, that's annoying. But
There
for
are
me,
three
what told me it was sorry, Rick, hold on.
No. I apologize.
What told me it was not going to be good was literally the opening sequence. He's like a secret agent on a boat.
Yeah.
And he's like beating up people.
He's
and
just
I'm like,
Jason Statham.
I'm like, it's just Jason Statham.
Yeah.
I'm like, you used to be like a deep sea rescue guy.
Yeah. That's the problem with this film.
The
This is not the Meg 2.
biologist.
Yeah,
like,
this is not Meg 2. This is a Jason Statham movie. Yeah.
And I love Jason
I think
Statham.
that's it.
I love Jason Statham.
Yeah,
too.
I love him too. Yeah.
But I enjoyed the movie. It has a place in my heart because of 3 words. So long, chum.
Oh my God.
No.
I love that line. I laughed out loud. I went,
was
"Oh,
like
that's great! I get it."
That was just like people doing stupid things. Like
Yeah.
you're on this island or you're on this place where there's all these weird little like reptile dogs running around killing people. You go and you hide in a helicopter. You hear rustling. You get out of the helicopter to investigate the rustling. Like it's just.
I like Jason Statham so much. I enjoyed Expendables 4, but it's not on my list.
No, that's also a bad.
I mean
that's
my favorite Fast and
okay
Furious
one.
movie is Hobbs and Shaw. Like,
Yeah, there we go. All right, go on with your list.
Your best?
And then best, I guess.
Well,
I mean, Suzume again was my top. I love Boy in the Heron.
We got to see that, Pat.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah, we got to see it.
I love Nimona. If you haven't, shamelessly, we worked on Nimona.
We did.
Nice.
Yeah. I love the Slam Dunk movie. Sorry, we're animation people. So we're
Let's go. Love it. Yeah.
Slam Dunk was he grew up
I grew up
watching
with it, so I
did
really want to
not.
watch it.
And I was a little initially hesitant because it was like CG animation meant to look like 2D.
Yeah.
And like maybe. But yeah, Slam Dunk, it was a CG film stylized in 2D, and I feel like Japan is like getting there, and this I was like, it was really good.
It was really good. Really good.
Like I've had issues, some of their like CG shows, it's like it's not quite there yet.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Nice.
love Godzilla -1.
Yes.
So fucking good. I love Barbie. I love Ninja Turtles.
Yep.
Not action movie, but Joyride. I really enjoyed it.
Joyride was like a really raunchy, funny
very
comedy.
raunchy, very funny comedy. I was laughing too much.
Yeah.
In that theater.
And I like the new Hunger Games was super tight. It was really good.
The Hunger Games was actually a really tight.
She writes like knowing these things are getting adapted, and like so it was a super tight book, and it was a really good movie.
Well, I'll give you a little hint from inside the literary world. it may not be she who's writing them.
Oh, that's fair. I can see that.
But they're very smart. They're very smart books.
Yeah, that movie just you watching it, you realize you do actively realize you're watching basically like someone slowly turn into Hitler, because that's the main character that becomes the game maker essentially of the Hunger Game. Yeah. But you don't necessarily root for them, but you understand it from a certain like perspective. It's kind of weird. It's like a very fine balance that they were able to walk pretty nicely.
Yeah, and they did a good job.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, and then I loved the live action One Piece, and I hated the Yu Yu Hakusho live action.
We'll talk about that tomorrow.
Interesting.
Excellent.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
All right. Nice picks from Jen and Miko. All right, Rick. Oh, wait a minute. Before we get to Rick, this is for you, Frank. Even though the creator borrowed from a lot of other films, I still found it entertaining and was never bored.
Yeah. Shane, comparing Rebel Moon and Creator is like comparing dirt to shit.
You're so annoying.
So mean, man. Wow. So mean.
Well, I feel it's true. It's like, I found them both. I was entertained by both of them too, but I would never in a million years say they were great. That's my problem. They're okay. They follow through, but to put it at the head of the after all, it's such an insult to stuff like Godzilla -1 to put Creator over that. Never mind.
Frank has his reasons. It's all right.
I know, and listen, Frank is the beast. There's no question. Frank is the king of kung fu commentators. I respect Frank more than virtually anybody else in the world. But even so, I'm known as the Anvil for a reason, and I'm always going to tell you what I think. And and Frank, I think, understands when he concentrates on the eye candy rather than the mind candy. He knows where I'm coming from, but I have enormous amounts of respect for Frank. And if Frank loves it, Frank loves it. But that's not going to get me to love it. So
all right. It's time for the best.
Yeah, for me.
Yes.
And I'm not sure what order you have. I don't know if you have pictures of mine.
The way you sent it to me.
Okay. And I may have changed that since then, but we'll see.
All right. Go ahead.
Again, I think it's because of order and also other things.
Right.
Number 10, going down to number 1, is RDX. RDX is the Timu. Timu is a section of India. It's not Bollywood, but it's Timuwood. And this was clearly inspired by RRR. Mm-hmm. Except Timu doesn't have really handsome men and really beautiful women. All the characters in their movies are normal looking. If you could bring that poster up again, you'll see they're all kind of like just normal Joes. But this is basically their version of that movie we had at the Kung Fu Extravaganza, where the three students were avenging their master.
Paper Tigers, yeah.
Paper Tigers. This is but the action is, and also since these guys are tops in Timu, they were able to go throughout the city and film wherever they wanted. That's another thing about the Bollywood movies. They have a lot of sets. These guys don't have any sets. They all go to the actual locations and they fight. They blew up their most famous and popular carnival for this movie. They went to the carnival, which was one time a year in Timu, and they blew it up. And I was just like, so watching it was just, and also it's all martial arts based. This guy was a karate teacher and these were karate students. And their work with it was really nicely brutal. And they had, again, one great musical number, just like RRR. So that was worthwhile. Not as good as another Bollywood movie I'm going to talk about a little bit later, but still good.
Wait, where did you see it? Sorry.
Huh?
Where is it, like streaming somewhere?
It's Netflix. Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Netflix is the king of Indian films.
That's true.
Especially Indian action.
Yeah.
So just go to RDX. Because they had Jawan, they had a bunch of others weren't as good as RDX in the next one I'll be talking about, but they're still good. Number 2, one of my favorites, Taoist Master Kylan. This was one of Haya originals, which was which on the Haya channel, and it's like an hour and 10 minutes long. But I loved it because not only does it have that wonderful actor who did his own choreography. What's what's that famous? Why am I blanking? I'm an old man.
Terry
now.
Fan.
Huh?
Terry Fan.
Yeah, Louis Fan, as we know him.
Louis Fan, aka Terry Fan. Yeah.
Yeah, and he did the choreography. The choreography is based on, you know, the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It's also all about him trying to reach enlightenment. It's not about fighting. It's not about punching. It's about reaching enlightenment. He's a Taoist master, and as such, I absolutely loved it. It wasn't fighting for the sake of fighting. It was moving for the sake of harnessing the energy and keeping the other person from hurting themselves and you. It was just great. It's just, and also so simple, so beautiful, so quick, and really weird. It's incredibly, because it involves aliens back in the day. It's really cool. Then we have a repeat, John Wick 4. For my money, this was not an action movie. This was a musical action movie. This was the emotions of opera and the movements of ballet. And also, more importantly, a musical. This was an action musical, because all the scenes were not action scenes. They were action musical scenes. They were musical action scenes, because none of them made sense. None of them held any water as any sort of actual identifiable reality. I think I've said this before, but I'll say it again. The movie is John Wick's voyage through hell. The opening speech by Lawrence Fishburne is the opening paragraph of Dante's Inferno. And Dante's Inferno is about Dante being brought through the 7 circles of hell so he can find peace. Absolutely no question that's what this movie is. If you count the major action scenes, there are 7 of them. And at the end, what happens? John Wick finally finds peace.
That's so cool.
It's absolutely true, because none of this movie does not make any sense or any sort of identifiable reality if that isn't true, because nobody gets hurt, nobody gets scratched. The only blood in the entire movie is at the beginning of the movie, when Lawrence Fishburne comes in and John Wick is punching the board and you see there's blood on this. But otherwise, he is getting blown up. He is getting hit by cars repeatedly. He's being thrown out of windows. Not a scratch. Not a scratch.
Say something nice about this movie.
Yeah, well, that's it. But also, and each of the fight scenes are musical numbers. It's like you know, a Fred Astaire. It's like Gene Kelly.
Yeah.
And also, each one is set up really beautifully well, but nonsense. They have bulletproof suits, but he's using an ungloved. He doesn't have bulletproof gloves, and he pulls up his lapel, and that protects him from high velocity bullets. It's nonsense, unless it is what I say it is. And if it is what it say it is, which it is, it's great. It is absolutely great. It's just tremendous. And also, you could see clearly they were setting up a sequel with The Blind Swordsman. You know, he was about to be gotten by the girl to take revenge, and that movie was going to be about him letting John Wick stay dead, stay in peace, stay buried. But Lionsgate's not going to let him.
Although, if you read the screenplay, at the end, Donnie Yen gets killed.
All right. Well, they were very smart not to let that happen, because that would give Donnie a future. But maybe the Chinese government said, no, you have to come back here and kowtow more to us.
Do you think they would go for like prequels, like de-age Keanu?
Well, they're going to do the spin-offs. They're going to do Ballerina with Ana de Armas, which I'm really looking forward to.
As well as without Keanu, though.
That's true.
Like, unfortunately.
Well, it would be. I'm going to be interesting. I really admire Keanu Reeves enormously. The only thing I'm unhappy with that he did was the Master of Tai Chi movie, because there was virtually no Tai Chi in the Master of Tai Chi, and he should have known better. And that's the one he directed, and he takes Tai Chi. So I'm sort of, and also he had Tai Chi students in that. He had Tai Chi experts in that, and he didn't use Tai Chi. So it was very disappointing. But be that as it may, I trust him. So if he comes back, I think he'll do he'll do something that's honorable. And maybe he'll do another John Wick movie about. He'll find another book that takes place in hell, but he won't tell you it's in hell, and he'll have John Wick doing something that will also, maybe he'll try to find peace with his wife or his dogs or whatever. But I have in Keanu Reeves, I trust.
Jen and Miko, have you guys watched the Continental series?
No.
I have not.
I was very unhappy with that. I was very unhappy. It's a spinoff. It's one of the
I
spin-offs.
haven't heard of it.
What is it?
It's a prequel. It's the setup of the Continental. It's basically it's the story of what's his name?
Ian McShane's character.
Ian McShane's character.
He's younger, and
But they cast a very milquetoast guy to play it.
I didn't even hear about that.
That's interesting. Oh, okay.
On
Because for me,
Peacock.
when I remember the trailers, I remember Hotel Artemis. I was like, oh, this is obviously a John Wick movie. And then he was like, no, it's not. And I was like, it should be.
It is.
That sounds up my alley.
The Continentals are like the world. The John Wick outside of Keanu has a lot of world setup that it is very interesting, like the Continental, like how the rule works and all of that. So like there is a lot of space. I think
the world building.
The world building is solid. So
yeah, unfortunately, they didn't do it in the Continental. They should have done it in the Continental, but they didn't.
Yeah.
It was a very weak. It wasn't Chopsaki Sui, but it might as well be an equivalent of that. It didn't have Keanu behind it, so it didn't work.
Okay.
Next on my list,
Hey.
no question, one of the top action movies of the year, without doubt, Sisu.
Yeah, Sisu.
Sisu is just a delight and an example of how the international filmmakers are bringing realistic action back into movies. The Lost Bullet 2, and Sisu now. Lost Bullet was French. This one is Scandinavian. Well, I think it's Swedish.
Swedish.
Yeah.
And it's just tremendous and terrific. Nonsense, but terrific action movie. It gets increasingly ridiculous, but even so, they stay on just a hair's edge away from unbelievable, but still darn good, especially since the title, Sisu, is all about never giving up.
Mm-hmm.
So they back that up. They give you the mind candy in addition to the action candy. So that was cool. And what's the next one? What's the next poster?
The next one, originally you had Guardians of the Galaxy 3 there.
Yeah, I took that out. I'm going to save what I was going to put in for this second to the last one.
Okay.
Let's go to Reacher.
Okay.
I'll put Reacher as my number 5.
Yeah.
It's what you were saying that it's. I forgot whether it was you or which of you said that it's rare that a show gets better as it goes along. But I found that several movies like Mission Impossible and Fast and Furious got better as they went along. Fast and Furious didn't get really good until the 5th one or the 6th one. And Reacher is better in the second season. I enjoyed the first season a lot.
Yeah.
But the second season is really, and I've read the books, and this is very honorable to the books. And the action is great because he fights in character. Nobody else in the show fights like he does. He fights like Reacher. And
a lot of headbutts. A lot of
headbutts and a lot of fist butts. But also, I don't like fists because fists are stupid things to do, but it's Reacher. And Reacher was trained in the military, and he has a group of guys. And he's just getting better. It's a very enjoyable show.
Yeah. Dolph Lundgren meets Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's all I've ever wanted. That's all I've ever wanted. I've always wanted Batman to be the greatest. They called him the world's greatest detective. And I thought the Batman movie was going to be that. And no, he's just a terrible detective in that. So this was really good. So then next we have.
I was like, wait, that reminds me. I forgot to plug another movie in the best.
Go.
Say it.
I didn't think about it because I've seen it like 800 times, but
go ahead.
I haven't seen it on Amazon Prime. Merry Little Batman.
Yeah, that's great. That is very good.
I helped make that one.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yay.
All right.
We'll talk about then. We must talk about that tomorrow for the action film autopsy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because I'm like, I've seen it for years now, and I'm like, I forgot it came out.
It just came out, yeah.
Everybody give her a sitting ovation. There we go. Yay. So next is Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
And I love that. I loved every second of that because as an animation fan, I was not bored. I didn't think they stretched it out. It was more time for me to look in every single corner, at every single thing. Also, I was so engrossed in it that I forgot it was part 1 because they don't say part 1. So I loved my reaction to the ending. So when the ending happened, and I was so involved in it, and then there was a cliffhanger. I went, "Oh, that's right! it's part one. And so I went, oh, I'm sorry, I don't see the rest of it right now. But that made me understand how great a movie it was. That it was like, show it to me now, show it to me now. But instead of showing to me now, I went back and watched it again and looked at, because there's no way to see everything in the movie that you can unless you watch it repeatedly. So yeah, I was a big fan of that, and I'm really looking forward to the next one. And speaking of being a big fan of something, and speaking of Blind Swordsman, my next one is Eye for an Eye, Blind Swordsman.
Yeah.
The Chinese version of Zatoichi with the wonderful actor who played the kid in My Father is a Hero and all the rest of it. Yeah, repeat the name again, Frank?
Zimao.
Zimao, right.
This is why Frank is here.
No, Frank's here. Frank is definitely the yin to my yang.
Frank's here to promote the creator.
There you go. There you go.
I think Frank's
Stay
here to
strong.
And The Wandering Earth too.
Oh, there you go.
Again, I was just put that in as a joke. I'm not doing creator as a joke. But in any case, Eye for an Eye, Blind Swordsman is excellent. Just excellent choreography. Tight little movie, like 1 hour and 10 minutes long. If you haven't seen, I've seen it 4 or 5 times. I keep going back. Watch the fight scenes. He choreographed the fight scenes. The fight scenes are so good because that's how a blind man would fight. He doesn't do anything until he touches something. Then he knows, and he knows what he's touched, so he knows what the next joint is. It's just each one, and they're short fight scenes because he's blind. So he's not going to extend the fight scene the way they would in John Wick. He's a blind man. He has to end it. He has to end it quick, and he has to end it with certainty. Yeah. This is a real martial artist. Just an excellent movie. And now we go to the polar opposite. The other Indian film that just totally blew my mind. This is not the animated Leo, which I also enjoyed. The Adam Sandler.
That's what we thought.
Yeah, no. You were
giving Frank so much shit for having non-action, and then you have Adam Sandler's animated movie.
No, this is not that. This is another Temu movie called Leo, which is based on the David Cronenberg movie. What was it?
History of Violence.
History of Violence.
Yeah.
This is a Temu movie, 3-hour Temu movie with a stunningly great musical number based on that, except this is Straw Dogs. The way I reacted to Straw Dogs when I saw Straw Dogs for the first time, the Sam Peckinpah movie with Justin Hoffman, this has some of the most brutal fight scenes I have ever seen in a motion picture.
I have to see this.
And it's not about blood. Again, it's not the bloodiest movie I've ever seen. But in terms of the sheer brutality of the fight scenes,
it's... Are we talking like Raid 2?
Yeah, but Raid 2 is martial arts. Mm-hmm. This is what they called, one of the Temu newspapers reviewers called it a celebration of violence. It's not a history of violence. It should be a celebration of violence. Show the fucking blood. Well, no. Here they don't need to show the second blood. What did I say? What was I saying about?
Classic.
So funny.
That was great.
What was that?
Rebel Moon, to be honest.
Well, what was I commenting on when I said that originally?
I think it was the Ryan Gosling Russo brothers movie, The Gray Man.
The Gray Man.
Also terrible.
The Gray Man.
Yeah,
but be that as it may, Leo is an amazing movie. If you want to see the art of fight scenes, it does. Certainly by the end of the 3 hours, it wears out its. I mean, by the end, I just had to go. Okay, go ahead, let it wash over me. And then the thing that really pissed me off is that it was a setup for the next one. The last scene is the cliffhanger setup, and I'm going, you can't follow this. But especially the first two fights. Any action filmmaker should watch the first two fights in Leo, which is on Netflix, along with the other Leo. You can have a Leo double feature.
Be a palate cleanser after. Honestly, the Adam Sandler one was not. It was not bad.
It wasn't bad. It really wasn't bad.
It was fine.
I enjoyed it. I like Adam Sandler, and I like his sense of humor. Now, number 2 on my list, absolutely no question. I'm wearing number 1 and number 2 on my. I'm wearing my heart and number 2 on my sleeves, which is number 2. Absolutely, they're going to have to do a really awful job of the last episode tomorrow to ruin this for me. What If season 2 is great. It is from an act, and I'm talking specifically from an action standpoint. It does more than that. It resurrects the emotional content of the Marvel heroes. I care about every single Marvel hero in this, and they do a brilliant job. Because after Ant-Man and that, I didn't care about any of them. I didn't care. I stopped loving Ant-Man. I love them all here, and they've gotten back their mojo. Because again, Chapek's out, Iger's in, Feige has power again, but beyond that, the action in these episodes is exceptional. This is why I've always preferred animation action to live action, because live action will only work if you have a Jackie Chan, you have a Jet Li, you have a Wu Jing. That's why I'm so disappointed they're not, or a Donnie Yen. You look at the Indonesian guys who were fighting John Wick in the last one, and at the end of the fight scene, they couldn't help but look at the camera and go, "You're kidding me? This guy beat us." But in any case, but here, because it's animation, everybody's an expert, and it's a cornucopia of fight techniques. Tonight was swordplay, which was awesome. Yesterday was true kung fu. The whole thing was about true kung fu. Just brilliant. The one before that was fighting. Just amazing sequences of fight scenes. And I'm just like, I can't. They're doing this in a half an hour. It is so well done. I keep looking, and I talk to you guys all the time about who choreographs animation, because I know we had it in Kung Fu Panda, and I choreographed Minions: Rise of Gru, but who choreographed this? They had to have had a choreographer, because it's so good, and it's so many different styles. I keep looking for creative consultants and advisors. I can't find them yet, but I'm going to go over it like a fine-tooth comb. It is amazing. It is exceptional. I am thrilled. But now, number 1, no question.
The creator.
Yeah, that's right. Creator's number 1.
Godzilla.
And we all say it together.
Creator -1.
Godzilla -1. But here, eye candy, again, $15 million movie. But what makes it work for me is beyond the wonderful special effects, the exceptional special effects, the special effects that makes Godzilla real again, or maybe for the first time, because that was a huge difference between Godzilla versus 1, and this is why I think it's the best one of all time, because it was clear in the first Godzilla that wasn't real. That was a puppet. That was a guy in a suit. Absolutely clear. But understood. But also, this is the movie. But without number 1, they couldn't have done this one. And Godzilla -1 is clearly a sequel to the first one. So you can forget about all the other ones where they made him into a kid's toy, and they listened, because Godzilla exists because the atom bomb exists. Godzilla is the manifestation of the devastation that was rained on Japan at the end of World War II. However, the other thing that I love about Godzilla -1 is it also encapsulates with that amazing human plot line. It's not just about Godzilla, it's about a chicken kamikaze, a cowardly kamikaze, and the incredible guilt. Because in addition to being representative of the atom bomb, it's representative of the sadistic sadistic soldiers of Japan in World War II. It's representative of the deeply entrenched sadism of the Japanese army during World War II. You talk to the Vietnamese, you talk to the Chinese, you talk to what the Japanese did to them when they when they captured them, what they did to the women in the camps. That's also what Godzilla -1 is about. That's the manifestation of the guilt and the entrenched sadism. And as such, and it works on every level. There are so many levels to this movie, and it's powerful, not just because Godzilla is so cool. That's why a lot of really great filmmakers don't listen to the marketing that got at the end. They always give the viewers test cards. And that's why a lot of the filmmakers don't listen to the test cards, because the guys don't know why the movie is so great to them. They go, because it's Godzilla in it, or because of violence, or it has a pretty girl, or it has guns. None of that. It's all these layers of creativity brought to us by the writer-director of Godzilla -1. And it's like, when I saw this movie, I immediately sat there and watched it again. I had to, because I'm going, this is a work of art. This is, without doubt, to my mind, the greatest film the best film of the year, without question. And if it's not, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not nominated for the Oscar, because they didn't nominate or even mention the incredible accomplishment of Endgame. But even so, it is, as far as I'm concerned, without question, the best film and best movie. For $15 million, they made this multi-level movie that can be enjoyed on any level you want to enjoy it on. But to me, it was just like cinema. It was pure cinema. That's all I've ever wanted. I mean, I really enjoyed Children of the Lost Moon or whatever. I really enjoyed Oppenheimer. I enjoyed the movies that are going to be nominated, but none of them hold a candle to Godzilla -1.
I wish they had a better actor, though.
Huh?
I wish they had a better actor for the guy.
Okay, that's fine.
That's the one thing that pulled me out of this film, was this guy was overacting sometimes.
Well,
he got better though. As the film progressed, he got better.
And I believe, well, let's put it this way: if you felt that way, they did that for a reason, because he was trying to deal with his guilt and he wasn't able to handle
I understand
it. So he's overreacting.
Right. But he just didn't do it.
It didn't work it for you, but Creator did. Anyway.
Oh,
I love the girl. No.
Using that as
I love the girl. I thought the girl was perfect.
Well, fine.
Akiko. The girl was Akiko.
But be that as it may. This thing is a work of cinematic art.
Yeah, I do agree. This one, like, it has such a good balance of the spectacle and the human story, where the American versions, I forgot the last one, but like they always have a human story underlining the whole thing.
But a boring one.
It never connects the same way. Yeah. This one has a direct impact Godzilla has with his family, with this country, with that, like with Japan. Just it was so good in like you said, every single level compared to the US.
I appreciate you hitting on the sadistic part, because I feel like a lot of, obviously, people go for the obvious. Godzilla is the symbol of the nuke, and I've seen a lot of talk about like the same, in the same year that a movie like Oppenheimer comes out, and it's kind of like, like for me it was a little bit like, oof, like knowing how ridiculous like the war crimes Japan committed against South Korea and all these other places were. I was like, people were kind of like, Japan has branded themselves very well of like letting people kind of forget that part of
and deservedly so. And the Germans too, and deservedly so. They should forget about that. But at the time, they did horrible things. And what's great about this movie is that Godzilla clearly manifests it. Because things happen to Godzilla in this movie, and at the end of this movie, things happen to Godzilla. But you cannot kill that. What he does, just when especially with the female character, what Godzilla does is very clear. Him going, boom, surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not just the atom bomb, and I also love the fact that Oppenheimer created Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
Double feature. There you go.
Yeah, absolutely double feature. They're both great movies. So, he definitely created the atom bomb. When Godzilla first appears, he's the representation. He's the shadow of the bomb.
The unintentional consequence now of Godzilla -1 being so good is that now you look at the upcoming Godzilla X Kong, and you're like, oh no.
I mean, I put those in like two different
Yeah.
Oh
like-
no, it's like a dumbing right away. You know this film is going
Yeah.
to be such a dumbing down,
Yeah.
dumbed down version of it.
but
Oh,
if
yeah.
it's if it's entertaining hot nonsense,
Yeah,
there.
that's it.
fine.
I'm into that.
But Godzilla -1 should also be another reason why the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences should celebrate it, because it is a trophy and a testament to every filmmaker that you have no excuse not to make a great movie.
Yeah.
But I'm just doing a Godzilla movie. You don't
The
have
thing
to
is,
do
though,
just a Godzilla movie.
Even if they can get a nomination, it cannot be for best foreign film because Japan submitted Perfect Days for best foreign film. So the only chance Godzilla -1 have at the Oscar will be the special effects,
Yeah.
maybe the music, the score, which is great,
Yeah.
and best film. That's
Right.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, RRR was, they threw a bone to the Indians, so hopefully they'll throw a bone to because this is an exceptional movie. But then again, Japan is an artistic, that's another reason we should cut them slack, because also Boy and the Heron.
I was gonna say,
mean-
Boy and the Heron's gonna split the Japan vote.
Yeah, but and of course, because it's Godzilla, it's
No,
just a
the
Godzilla
Heron will be
movie.
in the animation though.
But Spider-Verse is gonna win, but they're gonna want to give Miyazaki an Oscar.
But what about Suzume?
I hope they
Suzume might
do.
also be
I
nominated.
No,
want
Suzume
Suzume to
anime
win.
never does well.
Yeah.
Like Suzume, I won't be
That's
surprised if
fair.
Suzume doesn't get nominated, like because Boy and the Heron is there. I'm not saying this is what I want. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm on your side.
That needs to change. We need more anime.
But
nominated.
Japan has always been a wildly artistic country, and
Yeah.
you go there and I'm stunned by the beauty of their artistry. So
Yeah.
the fact that they could bring it back to Godzilla hopefully will inspire other filmmakers,
Well, I think
especially the money it made.
Yeah, I was like, even their last Godzilla film, like Shin Godzilla, I love it for totally different reasons.
Oh yeah, I love Shin
And that's
Godzilla.
like, for me, it's like the proof that like they did like two amazing, completely different Godzilla movies with completely different uses of the Godzilla character, symbol,
Right.
what have you, with completely different commentary and messaging. And like they used the character, like, in this one, Godzilla was obviously like a huge part of the story, where in Shin Godzilla, he was kind of more representative of like he could have been anything. He was more just a natural disaster, and it
Right.
wasn't about Godzilla himself per se.
In the Shin Godzilla, that Godzilla was Fukushima.
Yeah. Like it was more just about like a black comedy about like
It's about
bureaucracy.
the bureaucracy in dealing
Yeah.
with something like a Fukushima. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like you have these two, like again, like these monster movies that are looked down on that were amazing movies, and then you look at what America's been trying to do.
Just spectacles.
You're
that's
just
the thing.
like,
Like the
It's
US,
like you can do it. They've
US
done it twice in a
US
row.
is very good at spectacle, and I feel like the Godzilla -1 does a good job of doing both so well.
Yeah.
No great artist, no great director in America is going to do a Godzilla movie. So it goes to the guys who are going to make crap out of it, because they're going to make not crap, they're going to make chop sake sushi out of it, because they have no understanding or respect.
I don't
for
even
the
know who
material.
directed the last several.
Well, it's the same thing. Adam Winger directed the Godzilla Kong one.
Yeah.
Adam Winger.
And the new one coming.
Yeah, and a new one too. But I mean,
So
the thing, what I'm trying to say was,
Yeah.
now you look at I think the problem was the dumbing down, because the past Godzilla films, and also animation give people give Americans this false impression that Godzilla is about fun, kids stuff.
Right,
And
but that was all the other Godzilla movies, which
Right.
is understandable. But now he's brought it back to where it should be, and we'll see what everybody does next. But at the same time,
Yes,
there's a
but I have
ready-made audience.
something to interject.
Yeah,
I love Godzilla -1. We gave it an A+.
yeah.
But does every single Godzilla movie moving forward have to be serious and depressing?
It won't be, because this
Does
guy
it?
was an artist. I'm interested to see what he does as a follow-up.
I say we celebrate Godzilla -1 for what it is, but not every Godzilla movie moving forward should
No.
be Godzilla -1.
It can't be.
War, depression.
No,
You
no,
got to
it
move
can't be.
on from that.
That's
And
fair.
it's
can't be.
okay. It's okay to have fun in each
But
apartment.
how can you have fun with such a menacing Godzilla, though?
Well, again, I hope that this will be his.
Mm.
That the
Right.
director and writer of this one will do their Godzilla the same way that everybody's doing their own Batman and their own Joker.
Yeah, I think so. The Godzilla in this one looks really much like a monster. Like
Right.
really, really
Oh,
much
yeah.
like a monster.
love it, yeah.
Compared to like the American one, which is like more of a muscular,
Yeah.
loser.
I mean, I feel like it's like why people are so excited for James Gunn's Superman, because it's like
Right.
people are, and why My Adventures with Superman was such a successful show. It's because people miss that interpretation of the character. They miss like a softer Superman, not like an emasculated Superman, but just one who's not like
The original
Zack
Superman.
Snyder Superman. Sorry, guys.
The original. No, don't apologize. We all agree, or at least I agree. Superman. I grew up with Superman. The first comic book I ever read was Superman. I was on the set of the Christopher Reeve Superman.
Oh, dang.
So yeah, I like Superman the way I perceive him, which is truth, justice, and the American, or the honorable way.
I have the restored Fleischer Superman
Yeah.
this year. Oh, dang. I'm very excited to watch these.
The animation is insane.
It holds up. It holds up.
So good.
My one remaining Superman figure is the Fleischer Superman figure.
Nice.
that I have.
But Superman Legacy has to succeed.
Yeah.
If it doesn't succeed, the new DCU will be in big trouble.
Well, I don't care about that. All I care about is that it's a great
Excuse
movie.
me. Care about that for my job security.
Yeah, I care about
No,
that.
that
I
too.
care about your job security.
That
But
too.
you're doing animation, which is great, so you'll be fine.
Michael, stay tuned for tomorrow. Show up for tomorrow's action film autopsy.
Yes.
We're going to talk about Iron
And it's a
Claw
good choice, Michael.
tomorrow.
But the question was, is it an action movie? I decided to make it a drama,
Yeah, that's fine.
and
Talk about movies.
no question, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it tomorrow on Action Film Autopsy, same place, same time.
Yes. Well, this was awesome, amazing, epic, and always hilarious when we get these legends together. Jen and Miko. Hey, you guys know this is your second home. It's your second home. You guys are always welcome to come back anytime. And can't wait to hang out with you two legends tomorrow.
Yes, you can. They're waiting right now.
Looking forward
Thank you.
to, I was going to say hanging out. Looking forward to hanging out with you guys tomorrow. But yeah, it's awesome having you guys here. Great picks from everyone. Frank, represent your picks, son. Show them. Show the Blu-rays.
Let's see those.
Yeah.
Represent your picks. That's right.
I feel like Dracula and your Van Helsing. No.
Rich, show off the shirt one more time.
Oh, the shirt. Oh yeah, well, let's do both sides. We've got the what if all the Marvel characters.
Nice.
And let's see if you can get the back of this one. Can you get
There
the
we
back
go.
of this one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Nice.
Epic.
Wow.
That's great.
Epic. Yes.
Now I have to decide what to wear tomorrow.
People want
Yeah, there you
Depeche
go.
Depeche Mode, baby.
Depeche Mode. To represent Depeche Mode. But as always, I love talking movies with these legends. And hey, thank you all for watching, all you beautiful movie-loving badasses. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And hey, try to get us to 30,000 subscribers. We're almost there. We're almost there here on this channel before 2024. So we got 2 days left, or 3 days left. Yeah, so try to get us there. Subscribe, share the video, and let us know in the comments below your favorite films, best and worst of the year. I'm looking forward to checking out you guys' comments. And don't you badasses go anywhere, but I'll see you guys tomorrow on the last Action Film Autopsy episode of 2023. See you guys tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Keep watching movies, enjoy life, and represent the creator. The creator, baby. That's right.
Creator. Wondering enough too.
Take care, guys.
Go.